How about Vergil Ortiz? Is that a fight that still interests you?
Yeah, it's still on the table, but right now we collecting belts right now. You know?
So belts on the priority.
Yeah, we locked in on the belts right now, and I feel like the 2,000 belts is a bigger fight right now. Even Fundora, I feel like Fundora is a bigger fight.
Do what I do, and then, like I said before, each and every fight I give y'all something different. I don't ever fight the same way, and I feel like I'm giving y'all guys knockouts as well, and I'm giving y'all a show on boxing, I'm moving. I can do it all. You know, it's not nothing that you don't get from me. You never seen a boring Jaron boots in this fight.
I've been pushing for the fight. You know, every time they ask me, I give them the green light. You know, it's only been one-sided green lights coming from out over here. The reason that the fight hasn't happened is simply because they haven't taken the fight.
Jaron Ennis officially shuts the door on Vergil Ortiz Jr., declaring that Fundora is the bigger fight, with Ortiz at the end of the line. Now, as the debate over the next matchup continues, Chris Mannix strongly advocates that Boots versus Vergil is the fight the public wants and should happen next.
You got something else coming up. The boxing world wants to see Boots versus Vergil. They wanted to see it with no belts on the line. They want to see it more with 2 belts on the line. Needs to happen next.
And it's not. You want to bet? Mr. Insider, Mr. I talked to Rick Meridian, Mr. I know everything behind the scenes. You don't know squat, Mannix, because you don't know the boxing business. Anytime we get close to a fight and it derails in time for some amount of months, and like you said, it's 9 months, that's a lifetime in boxing.
Jaron Boots Ennis has been mapping out his path to the top of the welterweight division, and he's identified the names that would elevate his status. Now, as he looks beyond the immediate options, he identifies Sebastian Fundora as a bigger, more desirable opponent, predicting he would secure a knockout victory against the towering contender.
Locked in on the belts right now, and I feel like the 2,000 belts is a bigger fight right now. Even Fundora, I feel like Fundora is a bigger fight. Everybody want to see that. I don't fight nobody. Vergil Ortiz, yes, a good fight. I feel like it's like dying down. Nobody really want to see it because I'm gonna beat him. I'm gonna knock him out. They're gonna be like, he was telling me. They already seen it now, so I'd rather fight the tall guy that y'all think is this monster and get him out of here. Then I'll run the whole division.
While Vergil Ortiz has cleared the legal hurdles and is now setting his sights on the one name that matters most, Jaron Boots Ennis. After being sidelined for months, Ortiz is ready to make the biggest fight in the division a reality.
I mean, I want the fight to happen. You know, that's kind of more of a manager question, you know what I mean? They just ask me if I want to fight. I say, yeah. They work out the numbers. But, you know, I'm in the ring in the gym, in the ring too, obviously. That's my job.
Vergil Ortiz has positioned himself as the interim WBC 154-pound champion and believes he's done enough to earn the opportunity to unify titles. Now, as he pushes for a fight against Sebastian Fundora, he expresses confusion regarding why he has not yet been granted a mandatory shot at the title.
I already called Marisa Solomon, and we've asked for this fight before. We asked for it when in person, when you know, we met with Golden Boy. We were on the phone side by side with Golden Boy with Mauricio, and we asked for the fight. I am also not going to pretend I know how it works either, because I thought that if you had the interim, you were next in line. So, I mean, I'm just as confused as everybody else.
On the Vergil Ortiz Jr. front, Boots keeps his response brief, declining to dwell on the collapse of negotiation. He confirms the fight is off and makes it clear that his focus has already shifted toward the bigger picture, the path to undisputed status. With Ortiz sidelined for months and Ennis moving on, the analyst believes that a unification bout against Fundora is not only more logical, but also well within Ennis's reach, provided he handles his mandatory defense first.
Everybody asks me about it all the time. You know, I did my part, and like I said, I thought the fight was done. You know, after he had Fort Lubin, and we get out the ring, he talking about he want to fight Errol Spence. That's his dream fight. So I'm like, it was crazy. And then leading up to making the fight happen, I started training for that fight in January. So, because we were supposed to fight in March, then we were supposed to fight in April, then we were supposed to fight in May. Then we wind up, you know, fighting Zayas. So I technically kind of like trained for 5 months, you know, for Zayas, because they switched my opponent and all that stuff. But, you know, It is what it is, and you know, right now, like I said, my task is belts. I mean, I ain't, you know, I'm the man of this division. I do what I want, you know, and I got 2 belts at this division.
As he prepares for the challenges ahead, Jaron "Boots" Ennis describes himself as a versatile boxer puncher who can adapt to any style, viewing his ability to change his approach each fight as a key asset. If he ever loses that adaptability, opponents could start to figure him out and exploit patterns.
I feel like I'm a boxer puncher, but I really do whatever I want though. For real, I can do whatever I want in the ring, and that's another thing. Like each and every fight that I have, I'm giving y'all something different. This last fight, I just give y'all some dog work. The fight before that, I gave y'all first round knockout. The fight when I first stand on this, I was boxing and moving, not getting hit. Like I do whatever I want in that ring with these guys, and I feel like I'm like a variety bag of chips. Like whatever you want, you have.
Looking back at his most recent fight, Jaron "Boots" Ennis admits that despite winning, he gave his performance a C+ grade and got lazy during the 3rd round. Jaron "Boots" Ennis has always been his own toughest critic, and his latest performance was no exception. Now, as he looks ahead to his next fight and the challenges that await, he admits that despite winning, he gave his performance against Xander Zayas. For Ennis, this isn't just about winning, it's about maintaining the level of focus that separates a title holder from a true great.
I watched that joint like 5 times. I still give myself a C. It's like C+. What I mean by I got lazy is just as like it got too easy, and it's the things that we work on in the gym. When things get too easy, get them out of there. They don't belong in there, get them out of there. You can't be getting lazy and get caught or anything. You know, you don't want to get caught with nothing. So it just got too easy for me, and I got a little lazy, and that's things that we work on in the gym.
When asked about a potential showdown with Terrence Crawford, Jaron Ennis recently stated that Crawford would be easy work, a comment that the veteran champion took personally. In response, Crawford dismissed Ennis as a hater and suggested that his career success is built on the foundation Crawford created. If Ennis's words are proven wrong in the cage, his confidence could be seen as arrogance rather than belief.
I told y'all Terrence Crawford has a very, very competitive nature. He has an extremely competitive nature. Extremely competitive. When you have the competitive nature that Terrence Crawford has, similar to that of Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali, their competitive nature is on a whole nother level.
As the war of words between Ennis and Crawford escalates, the host points out that elite competitors like Crawford, much like Jordan or Bryant, use disrespect as fuel, which could spell trouble for the younger fighter. Now, as Crawford responds to Ennis calling him easy work, the host argues that dismissing a champion's legacy is exactly the kind of disrespect that fuels a competitor like Crawford.
But when he did that interview with Gillian Wallow and he said Terrence Crawford was easy work, I knew that was going to rub Terrence Crawford the wrong way. I knew it was going to rub him the wrong way. And so now Terrence Crawford did this interview. He was asked about that, obviously, and he said, Terrence Crawford said, listen, the dude is a hater. That's what he said. He said, man, he's a hater, right? He said, he need to thank me. The way I look at it, when people bring this up to me, it's brewing. Terrence Crawford is not far removed from the sport.
Moreover, Blue has followed Terrence Crawford's career closely and understands the veteran champion's psychology. Now, as the war of words with Jaron Ennis heats up, he believes that despite Crawford being retired, the right circumstances, such as the right offer or provocation, could lead to a fight between the two, noting that Crawford has recently resumed training. If Ennis continues to poke the bear, he might find himself facing a motivated Crawford who's eager to prove he's still the king of the division.
Terrence Crawford is not far removed from the sport of boxing. He's not retired so far from the sport of boxing that he can't compete. I'm telling you, the right moment, the right price, and the right word said, to me, it's just brewing. It's brewing. And I truly believe we're going to get Terrence Crawford versus Jaron Ennis. You had His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh the other day said that he thinks Terrence Crawford coming back. Terrence Crawford just started training again, and he's saying like he needs to get back in the gym, etc., because he's training with Lester Martinez. The right fights, that Jaron Ennis fight is brewing.
Looking at the road ahead for Jaron Ennis, Vergil Ennis confirms that Boots plans to fight his mandatory next before turning his attention to the 154-pound division's biggest names, followed by potential targets like Sebastian to clean up the 154-pound division. If those fights don't materialize, the path to undisputed status could hit unexpected roadblocks.
That's the fight is mandatory. That's the fight he's going to fight.
But that's the fight we want.
But after that he wants to fight Boots.
Fundora or either Josh Kelly. You heard what Boots said. We're trying to clean up the division. That 154 division. Once we clean that up, we might be moving up.
When asked about the possibility of fighting Vergil Ortiz next, Vergil Ennis explicitly shuts it down, stating that Ortiz is at the end of the line for keeping them waiting previously. As Jaron Boots Ennis maps out his path to undisputed status, he explicitly shuts down the possibility of a fight with Vergil Ortiz next. If Ortiz's team eventually comes back to the table, they may find that the opportunity has passed them by entirely.
So is Vergil probably up next for Boots?
Man, no. The reason why? Because all that stuff Vergil was doing, it had to be in an act. Now him and De La Hoya back together, talking about fighting Boots and all that. Y'all made us wait. We wanted to fight right then. You know what I mean? You had us around waiting, and now y'all back together. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? You gonna have to be on the back of the head, at the end of the line.
He's at the end of the line now?
He's gonna have to be at the end of the line. You had us waiting all this time, and you didn't want to fight.
Okay, so what's up next for Boots?
What's up next? Well, he should be fighting like December, maybe December.
Meanwhile, Coach Breadman has watched Vergil Ortiz's career trajectory closely and sees a fighter who may have made a strategic miscalculation. Now, as Ortiz prepares to return to the ring after a long layoff, he expresses concern that Ortiz may have outsmarted himself by sitting out for a year. By not fighting and lacking a world title, Ortiz has lost his favorable position in negotiations compared to Ennis, and if his return doesn't deliver a statement victory, the leverage he once had could disappear entirely.
They may have outsmarted themselves this time. You know what I mean? You come off your career best performance, you stop Lubin, the ex-world champion, in 2 rounds, and then you just take off for a year. You know what I mean? Now you out of the mix. Fundora has a belt. Boots got a belt. Josh Kelly got a belt. Now he could be waiting on the outside. He hasn't fought Fundora. He hasn't fought Kelly. He's not lined up to fight any of them.
When breaking down the technical matchup between Boots Ennis and Vergil Ortiz, Coach Breadman favors Boots to win due to his demonstrated chin and heart, though he warns that Ennis must remain cautious of Ortiz's short, tight hooks and uppercuts on the inside. If Ennis gets too comfortable trading in the pocket, Ortiz's power could turn the tide in an instant. For Boots, this isn't just a fight. It's the chance to prove that his chin and heart can withstand the division's most dangerous inside fighter.
Rounds against him, imagine what Boots can do. And then somebody might say, yeah, well, Vergil, his punches are shorter and tighter. If he catch Boots and clips him, he might hurt, and he might. Because I personally think that Vergil is better than Xander. That's my personal opinion. So yeah, we got to just see. We got to see. I think they both excellent fighters, both tremendous fighters, but I like Boots. I told you years ago that I thought the kid was special, and I like him. I like him to win the fight. I don't know if it's going to be easy. I don't know if it's going to be hard, but I like him to win the fight. He do got to be careful with a couple of things that I've seen personally, and that is Vergil throws very short, tight hooks and uppercuts on the inside.
As he campaigns for the biggest fights of his career, Vergil Ortiz feels he is at the height of his prime at 28 years old and believes he's done enough to earn a title unification bout against Sebastian Fundora. He pushes for that opportunity. He expresses confusion over why he has not yet been granted a mandatory shot, describing a sense of being blacklisted or passed over for major fights in the past. If he continues to be overlooked, his prime years could be wasted while the division moves on without him.
Well, I think Boots should take the fight. That's what I'm saying. It don't matter. Just say, y'all killing yourself with the fighters. Stop that stupid shit. The man gonna fight. That's it. You know. Boots said he'll fight him. It don't matter. Boots. That's a great fight for Boots. If I'm Boots, get him up there. Get him up there. If that's the. I don't give a fuck what happened last time. Let's fight. I don't care about none of that. Okay, now you ready to fight? Let's fight then.
Offering his assessment, Bernie Thaw Boxer expects a highly competitive fight, but believes Ennis will benefit from his recent experience. He suggests the lessons learned in previous outings could lead to a more disciplined performance against Ortiz. For Bernie, Those adjustments may prove significant as the contest develops.
The man never said, well, how come you wanted to fight Earl Spence after that? The man never asked him that. See? You got a lot to say now. But in the aftermath of your victory over Lubin, you wasn't saying that you were talking about Earl Spence. You was letting your manager talk about that. You wasn't saying I want Boots Ennis. And the interviewer won't ask him that.
Bernie Thawboxer isn't overlooking Ortiz's abilities, but he expects both camps to raise their standards for a fight of this magnitude. With the spotlight growing brighter, he believes preparation and attention to detail will become even more important. Those adjustments could shape how the matchup unfolds. Sergio Mora argues that the delays have significantly changed the road to an Ennis versus Ortiz showdown. He argues that prolonged inactivity creates unnecessary uncertainty, making it increasingly difficult to preserve the momentum behind a fight of this magnitude.
So Vergil needs to remind people again, and guess what that means? He's gonna have to fight one more fight before we get the Boots fight. This is what this hiatus, this legal hiatus caused. And this is why boxing can never really strike when the iron is hot. Because sometimes when this happens, something happens where one fighter looks bad, a cut delays something, an injury delays it even longer, or God forbid he loses.
Now, Boots has made his position clear after watching the Ortiz fight collapse repeatedly due to Ortiz's legal dispute with Golden Boy. Ennis says he's done waiting and has shifted his focus entirely to unification fights, naming Fundora and IBF champion Josh Kelly as his targets. If you want the biggest fights, subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss when this one finally gets made.